All right, hello everybody. We're gonna take a little break from spinning for Sierra. We're gonna talk about actually going to the festival and what to bring, camping ideas and stuff like that. And I would still call myself a novice even after 20 years of festivals. So if you can think of any extra tips, things you think you're seeing I'm doing wrong, let me know. Let everybody else know. We're all kind of trying to build our camping knowledge. So first things first, I think we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna say, go get a ticket to Sierra. It's coming up this week. It's gonna be this Friday. It is so close. And look at this lineup. It's incredible. We have a poster here for the run of the show. So let's go ahead and we're gonna play a video from Sierra. This music is incredible. Check this out. All right, isn't that an incredible song? So I think what we're gonna do, first things first, I'm gonna say go check out Bingheistra Movement. That's a spelling of it right there. Check out the videos, check out the live tab. This is the Earl Chena Smith. Actually, it's Chuna if you listen to an interview about him. So Earl Chuna Smith is part of Soul Syndicate. Soul Syndicate will be at Sierra Nevada World Music Festival. What is really incredible, not only do they put up their practice sessions, they have sessions where they show the making of a song, an incredible process. But most enjoyable is the Still I Love Vinyl live sessions that they do, which are amazing. They have incredible DJs, incredible collection of vinyl, and they have live lyricists come up and sing over the vinyl. So it's a real treat. Go check that out. So let's talk about setting up and going camping at a music festival. Um, so here I am at Reggae on the River 2018. I have a freshly injured back. I have two herniated discs in my back. So you can see, what have I done? I've got a wagon. I take my time, don't overload the wagon, wear my back brace while I'm setting up. So, uh, depends on the type of festival you're going to. Like Sierra Nevada, the camping situation is you bring your car, which is really, really nice. Uh, you have to go to a festival like Reggae on the River to appreciate camping behind your car. So at Sierra, you'll pull up. They're going to set you up. The only downside on Sierra is you get 10 foot by 10 foot behind your car. So it limits the amount of camp that you can set up, which is good also in its own way in that you don't set up a ridiculous size camp. But if you need a larger camp, what you can do is bring a friend. You must be back to back as far as cars, because you can't save a spot for somebody. So get together, pull off on the side of the road just before you get there. Make sure you're going in for the car, and you can camp your cars next to each other. And that way, what you can do is you can have your tents, let's say on the left and the right, and the space in between you can use as a common area, and that'll allow you to both have a slightly larger common area. But let's talk about setting up a camp. If you're gonna have to walk from your car somewhere, I recommend something like They have folding wagons. This folded up nicely and fit behind my seat. And get the wagons with large wheels. If you're going to a festival like Reggae on the River, especially after I hurt my back, I started paying for the Ambassador Pass. What does the Ambassador Pass gives you? It gives you regular camping floor. You see how this is not covered in the rocks? At the normal Reggae on the River area, it was just rocks everywhere. So you're literally camping on rocks. Whereas if you paid for the Ambassador, you got a nice floor like this. So this is very much what you're going to look like at Sierra Nevada. Sierra Nevada, it's basically a big field, and it's going to be like hay. It's like a pasture, basically, where they have the animals at normally. And you're just going to bring a tarp. It's going to very much look like this. It'll be hay. Bring a tarp because, you know, they have animals there, and you might have like a cow patty or something, so you don't want to set your tent directly on that. But for the most part, it's just going to be dry grass. So anyway, get there, bring a tarp. A tarp is a floor. It'll protect your tent. It'll keep your tent, you know, everywhere you go in the morning. It's going to be a lot of dew. Some days are worse than others, but you might wake up and your entire tent is like dripping with water on the outside of it from all the dew. So definitely bring a tarp. This is what I did at the Ambassador area in Reggae on the River. So I had a wagon, and I have a tarp. Next most important thing I think is shade. The very first year I went in 2005, I didn't have any shade, and it made it substantially less enjoyable experience. If it's a really hot day, you need shade. Nice thing at Sierra is they do have shade tents, two of them if I remember correctly, and then also they have a bleacher area, and there's usually at least half of the bleachers is in the shade, so you can get out of the sun. If you don't have the money, don't have the room to bring a canopy, I would definitely bring a canopy though. This is a 10 by 10. I want to say the company is Easy Up, and get a straight leg canopy. Don't get slanted. Slant legs, you're going to end up with less square footage of shade space. So this is an Easy Up 10 by 10, straight leg. And don't go cheap on your canopy. I've had this canopy, I want to say it's lasted me about 10 reggae seasons at least. And if you're very gentle with it, setting it up and taking it down, it'll last you a long time. So get the 10 by 10 so you get the full 100 square feet. You can set these up by yourself. So what I do is I just slowly but surely pull this out. So you'll see what I do is I walk around, slow, 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 and you just go corner by corner, dragging it ever larger and larger. Don't take your time doing this. This is where you break your canopy. It's a very intricate frame. These are big, long arms, and if you put the wrong amount of stress somewhere, it's just going to break your canopy. But as you can see, this is a person here with 2 herniated discs in their back. Take your time. You can set up a camp by yourself. So I took it real easy. Probably set up my camp over a period of time. This is kind of a time-elapse video running here. But go slowly but surely, and now I'm already at the point where I'm locking the legs in place. And I'm going to extend it up in a second. So here we go. I just made several trips, bring a little bunch of things at a time. I really recommend places like Harbor Freight. You can get inexpensive tarps. Just take your time. I made a bunch of trips, make sure I wear my back brace. Here I am extending up the legs, and you just go slowly but surely. So you can set up camp by yourself. You don't have to have, you can go to a music festival by yourself. I've never had a problem ever with my personal safety. I'm always smart, I'm always respectful. As long as you're not trying to vend, and you're not scamming on other people's ladies, you're not going to have any problems at a festival. So, here we are. I just went slowly, slowly, slowly. Little things like this, little kneeling pod, makes your life so much nicer, just a simple thing like that. So bring that. You see I have a mallet. I have a mallet, and I have really big stakes. These are oversized tent stakes. And I'm going to hammer them in. I have a nice mallet to use, almost all the way to the bottom. And then you see what I have here? This is parachute cord. So not only am I staking it at all the corners, I'm also making extra guy lines to other ones. Another nice thing to bring is a shower tent. So these are like in levels of luxury. I would say bare minimum, you need a tarp and a tent. That is like the absolute bare minimum. If you're going to buy one more thing beyond a tent and a tarp, get a canopy. Canopy is going to way improve your quality of your camping experience. I can't stress that enough. A canopy. Bring shade. That was one thing that was lacking in my first experience. Otherwise, it was a fantastic experience, but my tent was literally just in the sun, which is not fun at all. Let's see. So I have this was a really inexpensive. It's like a kind of like, those pop-up shades for your car. You open it up and it literally springs into like this. Now, the one downside from this, it's really easy, but it's not very strong. This came with a shower bag, but it's not strong enough to hold a shower bag up. It would just collapse the entire tent, and you'd be like naked, and the whole thing would fall apart on you. So you see how I'm setting it up in the corner of my canopy? Canopy is really awesome. It does a lot of things for you. You can like hang off stuff from the canopy. So what I do is I set it up in the corner, and then I will weight the corners of it, usually just with a bucket. Just the buckets of water. You bring 2 5-gallon buckets. And why do you need 2 5-gallon buckets? Because even just the tiniest bit of soap will contaminate water. So you have one bucket that is very clean water that you're using. You can see here, I tried, and this works okay, but mine got clogged. There's a insect sprayer. An insect sprayer works very well, especially like just for washing your hands and things like that. You have a pressurized flow of water. You can lock the wand in place. It'll do a continuous spray. The only downside was I seem to have issues with. I think it was clogged. I think that was basically what the issue was. It just stopped working on me. I don't know what went wrong, but it stopped working. The other thing you can do is instead of this hose, you can cut off the shower sprayer. I'm sorry, cut off the regular wand sprayer, and you can connect like a shower nozzle on a hose, and that's what I would do. And that makes a big difference. So you have a pressurized flow of water. You'd kind of put this on the ground inside of the tent with you. You'd warm up the water on a stove. If you really want to do a luxury shower, you have to have a stove and a way of heating up water. So I would heat up the water, pour it into the sprayer, pump it up, and then you could run. I would cut off the regular wand hose and put on, people sell shower nozzles basically. You can even use if you get the right fittings, you have like regular shower sprayer. You can connect a regular shower sprayer up to this if you're willing to go to the plumbing department and ask for some help, or if you're knowledgeable, you do a series of fittings and you can connect a regular shower nozzle to this and pressurize it. That is the bare bones simplest way to have a pressurized hot shower. Let's keep it going. But mine eventually failed. And really the simplest thing is you bring the shower in 2 5-gallon buckets, and you use literally like a 24-ounce cup. You dip it into your clean water bucket and put your hands up in the air. Start at the very top of your hand, like raise your hands like you're saying, pick me, pick me. And you start pouring the water down from the top of your arm, and it'll run down your entire body. And then you do the other arm, and basically the water will run down the entirety of your body. And you can take, with about 4 gallons, you can take a really luxurious shower. The other bucket, you're going to take your soapy hands and you're going to dip it in the soapy bucket. And that way you have a clean water bucket and a soapy water bucket. So let's keep it going. So I set that up, put the shower sprayer inside. You can see here's my buckets. So I have 3 buckets. There's an emergency, I gotta go to the bathroom bucket for if all the porta potties are absolutely disgusting. That's an absolute emergency because that is not nice. You have to use bags. Even with bags, it's just a smelly situation. But if there's an emergency and you gotta go, little bucket, toilets do work. But it's not going to be nice for your neighbors, so I wouldn't recommend it. Let's see. What else do we want to say? So basically, I just put that inside, zip it inside. Usually, most festivals will have a water nozzle. Now, you can't really do this at Sierra, because I don't know. You get a 10 by 10, so you'd have to figure out where you're going to locate this, because it makes a lot of mud. Like, the festival like Reggae on the River, you can do this because you have an area between camps. You can have your water running off, and it's not going to be a problem for your neighbors. But it's something that with Sierra, I would recommend you just use their shower. They have like a portable trailer that has showers. So I'm not sure how you would set this up at Sierra Nevada, but still, it's nice to have as like an emergency bathroom or something. So here we go, tarps, lots and lots of tarps. So what I'll do is I'm gonna make a floor area over here. You notice I'm not gonna put the tarp in the shower because I need that to drain off. So I have a large tarp there. Let's see, that's where it is. And so then we have to go to this one right here. So, what do you say? Reggae is a perfect place to practice simple acts of kindness. So what happened here? I'm setting up camp. This guy sees I have a bunch of tarps. He brought his tent, but he forgot a tarp. And he asked me for a tarp, and I had an extra tarp to give him. Just like bring a cheap extra tarp. It's really nice to have for one of your neighbors who doesn't have something. So I brought him an extra tarp, and it's a really nice thing you can do to help somebody out. So there we go. Take your time, take your time. I've got 2 herniated discs in my back. Bring a back brace if you have an injury. So they do have alter-able camping, but, you know, I'm still walking. People that go to these festivals in wheelchairs, and I would hate to take up a place. You know, I could have gotten a doctor's note, and the doctor would have signed me off and said, you can go camp in alter-able camping. Here's your notice. So this is my tent from last year, and I'm noticing all the dead spiders from the previous year that were stuck on my tent. So anyway, you can set up a tent by yourself as well. So I bring the kneeling pad, stake in the corners. I've already put down, got my canopy set up here. Chair, bring at least 1 chair, 2 chairs even better. So you can have one chair at your camp and 1 chair to just bring to the festival. And take your time. You can see 1 person can set up a tent. And slowly but surely, I take my time so I don't screw my back up. And popping up the tent's the hardest part. This is really frustrating. That's why you stake it down. And it helps you feed the poles through and put them in. So you put in one side, you get over to the other side, and this side pops out. And then you get over to that side, and that side pops out. So, it can be done by yourself. I didn't ask for any help here. It was a little frustrating. It popped out a couple times, but it can work. You know what? I think we're going to take a break here. Let's play a song from one of the artists. This is Lila Iki's YouTube channel. Go ahead and like and subscribe. We'll go ahead and subscribe. Let's give her a like. And...
Yeah, Alicia. Otherwise, Lila.
Alright, Lila Iki will be at Reggae playing my Reggae on the River videos, and that has me thinking about Reggae on the River. So we have... Alright. So, we'll keep it going here. Gotta make sure my sound is okay. My sound was breaking up at the end, I didn't realize. Alright, that sounds okay. So, we got the buckets there. So, most important things. Tarp, tent, and then after that, the canopy. If you want something extra luxurious, like some sort of shower tent, be nice. If the festival will allow for you to take a shower, like, so what you need is you need to fill your buckets and bring them back over here. I use like a cook stove to heat up the water. You know, something as simple as a 5-gallon bucket and a cup, you can take a shower. They do have shower facilities anyway. There's a cold shower facility, like a little permanent structure, but it does only have cold water. Then they also bring over a trailer that'll have something for you. So let's see. That's setting up a basic camping. Let me stop this one. We were looking at the other one over here. So, yeah, that's basically how I set up uh my camp. So if I have extra room, I'll have my canopy, and then I'll put my tent next to my canopy. And I'll have a big chill area. You can take a shower there, whatever. But at Sierra Nevada, it's gonna be everything has to be contained under your canopy. So you get 10-foot by 10-foot canopy. Your tent is gonna have to fit under your canopy, which is nice because you'll be in the shade. Um, Let me see. You know what I also have here? I have videos of camp all set up. So if you go to my channel, you go to the videos tab and you scroll way, way down. That's my Northwest World Reggae Festival videos. I have a whole bunch of videos about Northwest World Reggae.
Neurologists
Sorry,
are
we gotta get through
stunned.
this 1 second.
They've confirmed that ear ringing is shrinking your brain cells.
There we go. Camera is set up right in front of my tent. I have a chair. Oh, this is my favorite chair. I need to find a skilled seam person who can sew. One of these legs is kind of torn through. This was my favorite chair. You see how old and disgusting this chair is? It has a flip out, like place for your feet. So nice. They don't even make these anymore. This was a Coleman chair that had a flip out leg rest. So here I use a box to hold my camp stove. I go super simple. This is a little pot-belly stove. You put white gas inside of here, and then you just pressurize it. I bring a frying pan, and there you go. So simple. And literally right here, I forgot to bring a saucepan to heat up my water. So I'm warming up water for my shower right now. So bring one of these. These are awesome. It's called a dual fuel stove by Coleman. It takes white gas. I think you can also, in a pinch, you can use like unleaded gasoline or something silly. I wouldn't use unleaded gasoline. I would use the white gas they sell in the little gallon containers. So they're real simple. They're real tiny. You just pump it up. Bring some sort of lighter. I'd recommend a log lighter because when this thing goes, especially the first step is to let fluid get all inside of the bowl and light it on fire. And it's gonna make like a 1 foot tall flame. You're gonna need to let that die down, and then you light it up under pressure, and that heats up this whole area here, so the burners work better and they atomize the fuel. So basically, what I'm doing, you can see here, I've got my stainless steel plate. Those work beautifully. I can't tell you how nice those are. Then you just give them a little spray with some rubbing alcohol or water and vinegar. And so you see, I'm practicing what I preach here. I'm using a stainless steel plate, not a regular plate. I'm boiling the water while I eat. So first thing I did was I toasted up some bagels and I put a little cream cheese on the bagel, and that was my breakfast. A little cheese. Real simple. You could also do eggs. You have a frying pan, right? So once you have a tent, a tarp, shade structure. So this is when I was still learning. And everybody leave in the comments anything you can suggest to improve what I'm doing here or things you don't like what you're seeing because I'm not an expert. So I was using these tarps as walls. That works okay. And the beautiful thing about that is nothing is connected. These are, when a wind comes by, they can just blow whichever direction the wind is blowing. If you don't do that, your entire canopy is at risk of being flipped over. So yeah, that's me grubbing out at Reggae on the River. Happy Reggae. Nice. So yeah, just had a simple box that you use. I've since upgraded. I actually have a real fold-out camping table. But they're real simple, you just kind of pop them out like a chair and you tighten up the edges and it makes a table. You really don't even need that. You can use one of the boxes that you used to bring your stuff. This was a super simple camp. I had a freshly injured back, so I was really trying to make with a relatively bare minimum of things. And all of these things that I brought, everything folds up real nicely. I had a Toyota Corolla. I camped out of a Toyota Corolla with a really nice camp. So let's see, what else can you say here? We'll go through a more thorough list. Um, if you want to get a head start, you go and type in like festival camping, what to pack on the internet. Sporting goods company called REI makes something called a festival camping checklist. It's a 2-page document, has a whole bunch of recommended things. They have things like it says, and it's broken down into categories: festival essentials, tickets, map and directions to the festival, map of the festival grounds, concert schedule, tent marker, flag, balloons, lights, etc. So what they're saying is, um, when you're camping and you like, especially if you're disoriented the first day, let's say, and you can't remember where your tent was at, you need to have something that will easily mark it for you. Have something unique that will be unique to you, unique to your camp, that'll help identify your camp. Um, and then like in and around camp, they recommend like a tent, tarp. They're saying something like a tent pole repair sleeve. I think a duct tape would work in a pinch. Sunshade, tarp, or screen house. I'd recommend just a pop-up pop-up canopy, a mallet or hammer, sleeping bags, sleeping pads, or air mattress. So what I do now is I do a fold-out cot, and then I inflate a single high air mattress on top of that. And that is a really nice bed situation, and it packs up really nicely into car. They're talking about like pillows. They mention a hammock. Hammock requires a stand and stuff like that, unless you have a bunch of trees. The other thing I would recommend when you, let's say, it won't be a problem at Sierra, but let's say you're at like a Reggae on the River, which has trees everywhere. I would not camp directly under a tree. One person told me they call that the Widowmaker, where people will set up tents under trees. I know the odds of it are real slim, but the person telling me this clearly knew of this happening to somebody. That in the middle of the night, a tree branch will fall out of the tree, and if it hits your tent, you're done. So, this was when I was camping at a state park. They recommended that I don't camp under the trees. So that must happen often enough at the state park that they've had people get seriously injured or killed by a tree branch falling. So that's something to think about where you place your tent. It seems really tempting to put it under a tree, but it'd be much better to put it into a clearing under a canopy. Let's see, a pump for the air mattress. Add mattress repair kit. I guess duct tape could work as an emergency mattress repair kit. Folding camp chairs. Folding table or a camp kitchen. Headlights and flashlights. So that is definitely another thing too. For most of my camping that I've done, um, I did not have any sort of a um, lighting situation except for like a flashlight. So next luxury item would be something like some sort of a lantern. I think we're gonna go ahead. We'll do a little more, one more song here. So Earl Chuna Smith. I love this version here. This is one of my favorite versions. Earl. It looks like China, but if you see interviews with him, he goes by Chuna. Earl Chuna Smith. This is an incredible.
It's time for me to get set up for therapy, and I use this room as my office. But the desk is over here, and
until the child is born, son is given, government shall be upon his shoulder. It's the Prince of Peace, the wonderful counselor, and he is the light of this world. Daniel in the lion's den, know my enemies and I know my friend. Daniel in the lion's den, once again. Daniel in the lion's den, know my enemies and I know my friend. Daniel in the lion's den once again. Ooh, Jah bless, no one curse. I'm thanking Jah Rastafari, I'm not the world. Ooh, Rastafari bless, no flesh curse. Thanking Jah Rastafari, I'm not the world. Daniel in the lion's den, know my enemies and I know my friend. The lion's den once again. Daniel in the lion's den, know my enemies and I know my friend. Daniel in the lion's den once again. Touch not the Lord anointed, and do his prophet no harm. They cannot be thrilled, cannot be charmed. Touch not the Lord anointed, and do his prophet no harm. They cannot be thrilled, cannot be charmed. Oh, Daniel in the lion's den, know my enemies and I know my friend. Daniel in the lion's den once again. Oh, Daniel in the lion's den, know my enemies and I know my Daniel in the lion's den once again. Oh, Daniel, lion's den once again. Daniel in the lion's den once again. Oh, Daniel, once again. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, yeah. Once again. Oh, yeah. Oh,
All right, that's one of my favorite songs. It was some DJs out of Poland actually that played that song for me. I've been enjoying it ever since. My favorite version is the Earl Tuna Smith version of Soul Syndicate. Soul Syndicate's gonna be at Sierra Nevada World Music Festival. So anyway, let's go back to it. Uh, Another great tip. Definitely, this is a game changer for camping. Let's see, there's me changing the toilet. Hold on a second. I gotta get through all these shorts here. Dang, I did a lot of shorts. All right, here we go. What can I recommend for your cooler? For your cooler, make sure you bring, instead of like putting ice directly in the cooler, bring a whole bunch of large waterproof containers like a old protein uh, containers make fantastic water holders. And then you know what, in a pinch, you can actually use these as a drum set. So you drum on the bottom of it, You do one closed and you have another one that's open. It's like a set of bongos. It's just a little hint for you. If you don't bring a drum, you can use your protein powder container as a drum. So anyway, for your cooler, you need to not put ice in the cooler. I can't tell you how many times I've had it. Just happens all the time. So you end up like you bring some raw meat or something and the blood gets in the water. It's just a mess. It makes like contaminates your entire cooler. So especially if you're bringing like raw meat, you need to package up the raw meat very well. And I would not have loose ice inside of your cooler. So you put the ice in these large containers, and when it turns to water, it's all contained in this container. And then you can now have an extra area of water. You can just use that for washing your hands, washing dishes, whatever. Um, then you go get a new bag of ice. You pour out this water, you fill it up with more ice, and you put that back in the cooler. And so the inside of your cooler is going to be a bunch of these bottles, and then in between, on the top, all over around these, you're going to pack your food in sealed containers, and then your food is going to be perfect and pristine and not contaminate. The water won't contaminate your food won't contaminate the cooler. It works out beautifully. So I think we'll wrap it up here, but we're going to do a bunch more of these. I just want to make sure everybody has a good experience. If I've actually talked somebody into going camping, I want to make sure you have a good time. The biggest thing that was lacking from my first setup was all I had was a tent. I didn't have a canopy. So the first thing you buy when you get a little extra money to improve your camping situation beyond a tent is get a nice pop-up. And I would save your money and buy one of the more expensive pop-ups. It's going to be so worth it. Because a good canopy will last you, I don't think I'm exaggerating to say this is at least 10 years old now. I mean, it's actually older than that, but like, you take it to reggae festival season and like 1 year before the kids were born, I went to 3 reggae festivals in 1 year. It was so good. It was so nice. Um, so got a lot of use out of it. And it's really windy sometimes at these festivals. So buying a good canopy is just priceless. Next most important thing is you need to buy like really big tent stakes. Don't rely on the stakes that come with your canopy. You need to go out and buy those like 1 foot ones, 1 foot long, at least 9 inches, hammered into the ground at an angle so that if it lifts up, it's not going to pull it straight up and out. So you hammer it at a little bit of an angle, it'll help it stay in. Bring a good mallet. When you leave, it might be nice to have like a claw hammer. And the back of the claw hammer will help you pull that stake back out of the ground. Um, yeah, so I think we'll wrap it up there. There's plenty more to talk about camping wise, but most important is a tarp for the floor of your tent. If you have extra money, you can bring like a canvas drop cloth, like for painting, and use that for your floor area and the canopy, or a tarp. It'll just be kind of noisy when you walk around. The other nice thing about having a tarp on your floor is it makes it nicer for you cleaning up and not leaving anything behind. Because if you drop anything, it's going to fall on the tarp, and you'll see it real easily when you're folding your tarp up. If you don't have a tarp, you're going to maybe leave litter behind. You don't want to do that. So the next nice thing about having a tarp is makes you leave a cleaner camp behind and you don't accidentally drop stuff and leave litter. All right, I think we're going to wrap it up right there, but it's going to be this week, Friday. Go get a ticket. Sierra Nevada World Music Festival, June 16th through the 18th. It is happening. We are having all of these artists. You saw me upload a bunch of shorts from Luciano, Sabaka Pyramid, Boonfire, Job Warrior Shelter Hi-Fi. All of them uploaded shorts saying they're going to be at the festival. So it's happening, and all of these artists will be there. So get a ticket, and I will see everybody there this Friday. Thank you.